Now, my problem with this is Jesse, we went 14 minutes, like I said, about 16, 17 minutes with all the introductions. And the match ends in a disqualification. Now, this is the problem for me, and this is going to be genuine criticism. The problem with me is sometimes AEW just doesn't know anything but we got to give them pro wrestling. This did not need to go 15 minutes, 16 minutes. It did not need all the pro wrestling that we got. I felt like we were watching four guys who were wrestling for the tag team championships in a competitive match. It did not embody and it did not give off the feeling of two guys in Jay White and Orange Cassidy who are looking at the Death Riders and wanting to legitimately beat the shit out of them. I'm not looking at Jay White and Orange Cassidy in any way and saying, man, this is heated. This is two baby faces here right now in the company that want to stand for the right and the good of AEW. They want to stop Jon Moxley and what he's doing with the Death Riders to AEW. I didn't get any of that. I didn't get any sense of that whatsoever. We got a regular standard straight up tag team match with fucking tags and rest holds and headlocks. And then the action kind of picked up and then Adam Page comes in there and he showed more fire in the closing moments of this match, causing the DQ, than all four of these guys did for a fucking takeover angle with the group that's trying to take over AEW. And then we get the miscommunication at the end, and Jay White teamed with Orange Cassidy here. He had no problem fucking laying out Orange Cassidy after he just teamed with him for 15 minutes. It's like, man, oh man, it's like, you don't need to go overboard with the pro wrestling, man. This match could have been suitable at 7 minutes and high intensity, flair, fire, you know, and then Page comes in and fucks things up. But we go 15 minutes only to get to that, man. It's like they wasted our fucking time tonight.
So, yeah, here's what I took from that ending. I think, you know, I remember when AEW went and they wanted to condition us to make sure that we understood that some matches could end in a draw and some matches could end in a DQ. And then they did it so rarely and it was appreciated like when it happened. I don't mind this. Okay, so I don't mind this DQ as a concept here. But the bigger picture for me is they're using it too much. We're getting too many draws nowadays. We're getting too many DQs nowadays. And the only reason I could appreciate this for what they meant to do is because they used it. It was the intention was to get us to the fatal four-way that we're getting for the heavyweight title. It also makes no sense how they managed to get us there. You know, someone pointed out to me tonight that why would Moxley book himself into a fatal four-way? Normally, it would be some kind of babyface authority figure who came out and says, hey, I'm tired of this nonsense. You guys need to get this crap out. As a matter of fact, you know what we're going to do? Since you want to act like that, Moxley, fatal four-way. Now you got to face all three of these guys in one damn match. How you like them apples? But Mox came out and pretty much did it himself. He pretty much booked himself into a ridiculous corner that no champion would want to be in. Now, one could argue, well, he's trying to find someone who can take the throne that he is on top of. That's been his whole spiel, his whole thing in his promos. No one's ready to be a leader. No one's ready to be champion. So since he's already decided that, he's going to put himself in a fatal four-way match, which is like, has to be the most disadvantaged championship match, you know, that one could have. He booked himself in it. Why would you do that? Why would you not face a number one contender? Maybe a triple threat if you're feeling froggy, but a fatal four-way, I'm not quite understanding why the heel champion would want to book himself in a match where it puts him at complete disadvantage. At this point, he comes out victorious in that. Isn't he becoming the babyface here? I'll beat all three of you mofos and then do it and then walk away. Now what? Everybody in that match with Moxley is going to look like a complete schmuck when all three of them had an opportunity to dethrone him and they all failed. And he booked himself into the match and called his shot and did it.
Well, let me try and take a stab at this because, you know, for all the fucking half-witted idiots out there that say we don't give constructive criticism, I mean, we're just going to fucking shut you up for good, man, and just make you look like a fucking idiot. Jon Moxley is somebody that wants to right AEW, man. He wants to get rid of the egos. He wants to get rid of the laziness. He wants to basically start fresh and get rid of all the fucking poison that AEW has accumulated over the 5 years. He's not a traditional heel. He's the heel. He's the bad guy, but he's not a traditional heel. He's not the cowardice heel. He's not going to take the cheap way out. He's not going to shy away from fights and confrontation. All three of these guys have egos. Adam Page has a fucking ego. Adam Page doesn't give a shit about anybody else but himself. He wants the world championship. Jay White doesn't give a shit about anybody else. He wants the world championship. Orange Cassidy has now proven that he wants the world championship, and he's got his eyes set on the world championship, and he wants Jon Moxley, and he doesn't give a shit about anything else around him. So you got three guys in there. Page, who's a tweener. Jay White, I would assume, is a babyface. And Orange Cassidy's a babyface, who all want the world championship for themselves. They don't want the world championship for AEW. They don't want to take it back from Jon Moxley. They have ego problems, and Moxley wants to rid.
Darby came out and said he doesn't even care if he gets the title or not.
Well, that's just ridiculous. I mean, I don't know why you say that, but these guys want the world championship for themselves. They don't want the world championship to make AEW better. And Moxley challenging these three guys in a fatal four-way match to him doesn't really mean much of anything, because look at who he's got backing him. He knows he's got the manpower. He knows he's got the backup in the Death Riders. So going into this match, against these guys 3 against 1, it's not really 3 against 1. It's 5 against 3. So that's why he did it. So
they can't work together anyway.
And the other thing, it's all out for themselves at that point. But Excalibur did say on commentary that if they do come together as a united front, they can take the world championship off of Jon Moxley, and then Death Riders would be no more, and AEW would be saved. But that's not what they want. They all want the world championship. And no united front is going to happen at World's End. They are going to be every man for himself, and Moxley knows that. That's why he did what he did, and that's why he said what he said tonight. So that's my stab at it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm in the ballpark, somebody let me know. But that's what I kind of get out of this entire storyline so far.
Yeah, maybe. That could be. It's very unconventional the way they're going about the whole ordeal. As a matter of fact, Moxley running around roughshod, or as they like to want to think that he's running around roughshod right now. Who is he in a battle with? I know it's against AEW, but I compare this to like
who are you talking about? Moxley?
Yes. Oh. I compared this to like Austin and McMahon. The big main storyline. You got one guy who wants to be in charge and one guy who doesn't want them to be in charge. And so we got Moxley doing his hostile takeover thing, and he's in charge and he wants to run the company. Who is he fighting against actually in the company? Theoretically, it would be Tony Khan. This is not your company anymore. Then who's anymore? It was Tony Khan's company. Are you saying it's not? So what is Tony Khan doing to get his company back from Moxley, who seemingly have taken it hostage?
Nothing, Jesse. The whole storyline sucks. You want the flat out answer? The whole storyline makes zero sense whatsoever. It's fucking terrible. That's exactly what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a terrible, illogical, logic gap-ridden storyline. That's what we're dealing with.
That's the part I'm trying to figure out. This whole thing jumped off. The first people we had to the defense of AEW was the Dark Order and everything. They seemingly shifted from that, and they've given us, some different guys that come to the defense of AEW. But again, the guys that Moxley is defending the title against, it's not like they were in charge of AEW. So who is he trying to? I mean, who is Moxley and the Death Riders in this battle against? I don't understand.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't know. Right now they're in a battle with nobody. Nobody has stood up for AEW but Darby Allin, and Darby Allin's a fucking loser. He's in this tournament for the Continental title. If he wants to fucking go after Jon Moxley, then go after Jon Moxley. You're fiddling your fucking thumbs in the Continental Classic, a tournament you're not even going to win.
Yeah.
And then he's lost already in this tournament. He lost to Claudio single-handedly, fucking easily by Claudio. Got a victory over Darby. I'm supposed to look at this guy as the fucking future of the company and the guy that's going to beat Jon Moxley to the world championship? I don't think so.
Yeah.
The storyline sucks.
Let me check into this. Go ahead. Let me check into this.
Who do we have coming to the defense of AEW? Nobody. We've had the Dork Order. We have Action Andretti. Bunch of jobbers. Now we got Page, who should be the world champion at this point right now. And he's not. That's what Tony Khan wanted. He's in this thing. He's not going to win the world championship. Jay White's not going to win the world championship. Orange Cassidy's not going to win the world championship. So we're right back to square one. None of it matters. None of it makes sense. And AEW is parading around. Oh, look, we have addressed the criticisms of the critical fan base who shits on everything we do. We're going to continue to shit on what you do because none of these men on the 29th, or whenever it is, will take the world title from Jon Moxley. So you are theoretically wasting our time. There's nothing to believe in with these three guys. Zero. There's no reason to believe Moxley's going to lose the world championship. He's not been threatened yet. Nobody has been pushing his buttons. Nobody has had the Death Riders' backs against the wall. And nobody will until Kenny Omega and the Elite come back. And then the storyline will completely fall off a cliff and their ratings will sink lower. It's a fucking waste.